Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Spring Boot Filtering JSONview, a comprehensive tutorial. JSONview in Spring Boot provides a powerful mechanism for selectively rendering different fields of your Java objects when serializing them into JSON. This is particularly useful when you need to expose different views of your data to different consumers, example internal versus external APIs, or when you want to optimize the size of your JSON payloads. This tutorial will guide you through the process of implementing JSONview filtering with Spring Boot, covering various aspects and providing clear, working code examples. 1. Project setup, Maven or Gradle. First, you'll need a Spring Boot project. If you don't have one, create a new project using Spring initializr, start.spring.io, with the following dependencies. Spring Web for building RESTful APIs. JSON databind for JSON serialization and deserialization, usually included with Spring Web. Lombok, optional to reduce boilerplate code with annotations like @data, @getter, @setter. Here's a basic pom.xml, Maven, example. 2. Defining view interfaces. The cornerstone of JSONview is defining interfaces that represent the different views you want to expose. These interfaces are simply markers, they don't require any methods. In this example, *public represents the most basic view, exposing publicly available information. *internal extends public, meaning it includes everything in public plus additional internal-only fields. *sensitive extends internal, meaning it includes everything in public and internal plus additional sensitive fields. 3. Creating the data model. Now, let's define a Java class representing the data you want to expose, and annotate its fields to associate them with specific views. *JSONview, views.public.class, the ID and username fields are included in the public view. *JSONview, views.internal.class, the email field is included in the internal view, and implicitly insensitive because it extends internal. *JSONview, views.sensitive.class, the password field is only included in the sensitive view. Non-annotated field, this field is not annotated with @JSONview. By default, JSON's object mapper will include this field even without a view annotation, unless you configure the object mapper to ignore non-annotated fields, more on that later. 4. Creating a REST controller. Next, create a Spring MVC controller to expose the data. *JSONview, views.public.class, and similar for internal, sensitive. This annotation on the controller method tells Spring which view to use when serializing the user object. The @get mapping annotations map the URLs to the corresponding methods. 5. Testing the endpoints. Now, run your Spring Boot application and test the endpoints using a tool like curl or Postman. *curl http://localhost 8080/public. *curl http://localhost 8080/internal. *curl http://localhost 8080/sensitive. As you can see, each endpoint returns a JSON representation of the user object, filtered according to the specified view. Note that the non-annotated field is absent because it was not marked for any particular view. 6. Handling lists and collections. JSONview also works seamlessly with lists and collections. You simply apply the @JSONview annotation to the controller method returning the list. Now, curl http://localhost 8080/public/list will return. 7. Dynamic view selection with mapping JSON value. In some scenarios, you might need to determine the view dynamically based on a request parameter or some other condition. Spring's mapping JSON value allows you to programmatically set the view. The at request param string view allows you to specify the view in the URL, example http://localhost 8080/dynamic, view equals internal. A mapping JSON value is created, wrapping the user object. The set serialization view method is used to programmatically set the view class based on the view parameter. Now you can test. *curl http://localhost 8080/dynamic, view equals public. *curl http://localhost 8080/dynamic, view equals internal. *curl http://localhost 8080/dynamic, view equals sensitive. 8. Global configuration and ignoring non-annotated fields. As mentioned earlier, JSON's default behavior is to include fields that are not annotated with @JSONview. If you want a more restrictive approach and only serialize fields explicitly marked with a view, you can configure the object mapper globally. There are two common ways to do this. A. Using application.properties or application.yml*, or in application.yml. This setting tells JSON to only serialize properties annotated with @JSONview when a view is active. B. Creating a JSON2 object mapper builder customizer bean *. This approach gives you more control over the object mapper configuration. This creates a Spring bean that implements JSON2 object mapper builder customizer. The customize method of the customizer allows you to configure the object mapper before it's used by Spring. We set default view inclusion, false, to only include @JSONview annotated fields. Important considerations when default view inclusion equals false *. Explicit annotations are required *. You must annotate the fields you want to be included in any view. If a field isn't annotated, it will never be serialized. View inheritance *. Remember that if a field is annotated with a parent view, example public, it will also be included in child views, example internal if it extends public. Example with default view inclusion equals false *. If you set spring.json.default view inclusion equals false and run the previous controller examples, you'll find that the non-annotated field will never be present in the JSON output. To include it in, say, the internal view, you'd need to add @JSONview, views.internal.class, to that field in the user class. 9. Error handling and best practices. Invalid view names in the dynamic endpoint example, add more robust error handling for cases where the view request parameter is invalid or missing. Throwing a bad request exception would be a good approach. Clarity and consistency. Use meaningful names for your view interfaces that clearly describe the data they represent. Security. Be very careful about exposing sensitive data, even with JSONview. Regularly review your view definitions and ensure that you're not unintentionally exposing more information than necessary. Testing. Write unit tests to verify that your JSONview configurations are working as expected. Test each view and ensure that the correct fields are included. 10. Advanced usage, ignoring fields globally. If certain fields should never be exposed, even if they're accidentally annotated with @JSONview, you can use @JSONignore or @JSONignore properties. These annotations are more powerful than JSONview because they override the view configuration. *@JSONignore, applied to a single field, preventing it from being serialized regardless of the view. Asterisk at JSON ignore properties, applied to a class, allowing you to ignore multiple fields at once. 11. Summary. JSONview provides a flexible and convenient way to control the JSON output of your Spring Boot REST APIs. By defining view interfaces and annotating your data model, you can create different representations of your data for different consumers. Remember to use best practices for security and testing to ensure the integrity of your data. The ability to dynamically select the view based on request parameters further enhances its flexibility. With the default view inclusion property and annotations like at JSON ignore, you gain precise control over what gets serialized and exposed. By carefully combining these features, you can create robust and secure APIs.